Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Sharice Jervis Hill here with our Coffee with Cher podcast. I am so excited to welcome Lisa Riggs today. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Sharice. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have the sock queen. I love that. So let's jump right on into it. But before we do, let's do our little coffee cheers. I'm
Cheers.
banging into you.
There we go.
All right. So, Lisa, aka Sock Queen, tell us about your business. Tell us about your business. Tell us how you got started.
Okay. Yeah. So, um, basically, like we customize socks, thus Sock Queen. I actually decided I joke that I self-coronated because people started calling me the sock lady, and all I envisioned was being surrounded by cats, and I was like, wow, I have to change this narrative before it catches, right? And so I was actively trying to grow my business and my network on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and I just had the idea to, come up with this kind of handle, and for some reason it caught. And so Sock Queen it is. It's something I never thought I would be called. I had the idea actually to start the business with socks as a fundraiser
Mm-hmm.
because I was seeing I have a 18 years of fundraising background,
Mm-hmm.
and I know how difficult it is to raise money. And I was seeing a lot of the fundraisers with health and wellness guidelines be taken away. And I also was very sick of cookie dough and wrapping paper. And I saw people and candles, like people just throwing
Yeah.
money at so they didn't have to buy it. And I just thought there's got to be a better way. So I had the idea for socks. And I tested it at my daughter's. I was running the after school sports program, and
Mm-hmm.
tested it with them because the program was parent funded, and we made I sold the socks. Basically, we made a $17 profit margin per pair. We
Mm-hmm.
sold 200 pairs of socks in less than a week, and I had donations up by 140%.
Wow.
And then I had to reorder 200 more. And so I really stepped back and thought, my goodness, should I make this a business? And so I did. And then just a few years into the business, I saw that really we can customize a sock for anything. And so I really expanded it out of that fundraising aspect. It's still definitely an arm, and it's my passion to try to help communities. But we make socks. We're talking to somebody from a TV show. We made them for weddings, we made them for birthdays, we do them for
Nice.
corporate, we do all sorts of different things. And so it's quite a journey to see the different requests we get, and how fun we're actually. I hope this goes through. We're trying to make sock puppets for a ventriloquist right now. So
Oh,
the more
fun.
creative, the more creative, the better.
You know what's so great about being an entrepreneur and kind of having your business? You come up with new ideas and new service offerings from your clients, right? They'll come to you like,
Always.
"Hey, do you do?" And you're like, that's a good idea. Let me write that down." So that's fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah, my production manager and I definitely agree. Like the answer is yes. Can you do this? Sure. And then we figure out on the back end how, right? That's one of the reasons I really love working with her. It's part of being an entrepreneur. Like that's you have to be honest, of course, if you can't do it.
Yes,
But if
definitely.
there's a way, we definitely will find that way.
Yes, for sure. Finding that way. So, what kind of sets you apart from your competition? Tell me a little bit about that.
There's a couple of things that set us apart. First, I actually think I'm the only woman-owned sock company. So that
Really?
would be, I think so. I haven't found anybody else that any other sock companies that are women-owned. So I think that's definitely number one. And then I'm certified women-owned, so even better. Second, we actually care. Like our customer service is above and beyond because we really care about our customers. I recently calculated this. I have a 25% reorder rate on one-time orders. And that has
Mm.
to do with the customer service that we offer. Not only, well, it's the quality of the product, right? But it's also the customer service. Like our customers are so happy they come back and order again. And I think the third thing that sets us apart is I donate 5% of our profits towards providing socks to the homeless in America.
I
So
love
I
it.
really want to make sure that I give back and do good with, in partnership with my customers and with this company.
I love that. I love that. So speaking of doing good, tell us a little bit about, and I'm so tired of talking about COVID, but I just have to say that you and I were introduced and we had such a great conversation. And I'm like, I have to get her on Coffee with Cher. But we were talking and literally we were on the phone for like a half an hour, just kind of talking about just, COVID and how we navigated our businesses. And I wanted you to just touch on that a little bit about kind of like what you did, because I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, when, everything shut down, schools and work and everything, socks were not something that were on people's mind. And so for my business, it wasn't that the customers said, oh, we'll come back to you in 6 weeks or something. It was like this metal gate just came crashing down and my pipeline was dust. It was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully, I was able to adapt and make customized face masks. And that is really what kept my business alive. And so all those customers that I was talking to for socks, now I could go to them and say, as we're entering back into the world, here's some customized face masks. And so we were able to do that. And still, I was able to keep my graphic designer on staff because now she was designing face masks. And we were able to kind of it really, had I not done that, I would not have been able to keep the doors open. So it was a quick pivot, and thankfully I was able to do that and then still help people, right? The masks are comfortable. They were, I felt like I was also adding to the safety of the world. So that was a good thing.
And at that time, it was like, remember, masks were like impossible to find, it was like the beginning days. So when we spoke, it was just, I remember us kind of talking through that. And I thought that was really great. Same with us. It was just like you said, the gate just dropped, and then we really started focusing on the virtual. And that is definitely what kept us alive, so.
I remember how adaptable you were as well. Yes, it was nice to be able to share our stories, entrepreneur to entrepreneur, and how difficult of a time it was.
Yes, for sure. So happy that, we are on the next chapter for sure. Are you still doing face mask or no? Do you still have
Yes, we definitely still offer the face masks. I can say, I don't think we've sold any this year. People are, with the mask mandates lifted and stuff, I think people are just moving beyond. They'll probably still buy their own one or two or buying N95s, which is much more advised at this point, but probably buying masks in bulk for groups is behind us for now.
Yes. Fingers crossed, toes, all that good stuff. So I am going to wrap this up because I know that you are a busy woman and I know that you're kind of just back in the office, but I do like to end these Coffee with Cher podcast sessions with some advice for a new business owner or someone who is thinking about starting a business, or maybe someone who is in business, but really having a rough time. And I would love to hear what advice you have to offer up, Lisa.
There's a lot of advice I can give. I've been through a lot of ups and downs. I think what I would try to do with this opportunity is give advice that is different from what you've heard from other people, because you're definitely going to hear about, perseverance, and you have to be able to get up after you have to expect no, you have to be able to get up after you fail. All those things are part of the business journey. But I think one of the pieces of advice I can give that is unique is a lot of the times when people start their business, they think about, obviously they're excited about the product or service, the website, the logo, the branding colors, customers. But I think people forget, where are you going to acquire your customers from? How are you going to acquire your customers? I feel like a lot of business owners identify their customers, but they don't take it that next step and identify how they're going to get customers. And I really think that's a key difference between success and failure. And sometimes you have to get very, very creative with how you're going to acquire customers. When you're starting a business, if you're bootstrapping or you're on a small business loan, there's not a lot of extra cash to throw into Google ads and to try to compete with these already established businesses. And so how are you going to get those customers? What channels are you going to use? I know for me, I went to conferences. That was one of those ways I started. And for me, it was a way to test and validate my idea, see if it even was going to fly. But also I walked away with a couple hundred leads at a time. And where else was I going to get something like that? And so I think it's just getting creative in that acquisition and knowing it's not going to come from Facebook or LinkedIn or Google ads. It's got to be more creative when you're starting out, because the budget's just, unless somebody has a much better budget than I did, but budgets just don't match up against the big boys.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. And it also piggybacks on the value of using events in your marketing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like leveraging events to really, push your products. I think people don't spend a lot of time thinking about that. And I think that's genius for a business like yours. You're going to a big conference, you're leaving with all of these business cards. Really, really smart. Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure. Really, really smart. I remember when I first started my business, I sent out a letter. I mean, this was 18 years ago. And I sent out a letter and I'm like, okay, I sent my letter out. So now let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to get all these phone calls and I'm just going to sit here and, you just new business owner, you don't know, you think, okay, I'm sending this out and the world will now know. And then, learn shortly after that got to do a lot more than that. So I think that's great advice for someone who's new and starting out. So Lisa, tell us, how can everyone find you? Give us your information, your website, all of that good stuff.
Okay, yeah. The name of the company is Spirit Sox USA. Sox is SOX. So everything is based on that. SpiritSoxUSA.com has all our website, all of our information. Can also email me at lisa@spiritsoxusa.com, or always call me at 408-513-3645.
Awesome.
Or find me on LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn every single day. So they
Okay.
can, if you search Sock Queen, you'll find me on LinkedIn. That's for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, this was fantastic. So thank you so much for being here, Lisa. Thank you for sharing your story and leaving us with some tidbits for new business owners. I appreciate you, and I look forward to wearing a pair of your socks really soon.
Thank you, Charisse. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Lisa.